Oh no.
Let's break something.
Nope. Break nothing. Jeez. Didn't see that happening. Hey, this is Davin with Hagerty on Redline Rebuild Updates. I am working on a Subaru engine. I'm not gonna lie to you, not my first choice. But hey, seems like a lot of yous like that choice of motor, so we're gonna knock one out. And if you haven't started already, go back to the first episode and watch from there. After you watch this one, like 17 or 18 times. But anyhow, today I'm gonna take this thing completely apart, and I have absolutely no idea. So I'm gonna start somewhere, and I'm gonna finish with just a block somewhere. I have my tools well organized over here on the table. So with that, I'm gonna get cracking and probably make a lot of mistakes.
Why is that the way that is?
Well, I don't know who took this out of the engine, but somebody was very haphazard and just cut the power steering lines. I wonder who that could have been. Oops. But it made it easy. And it probably needed new power steering lines anyway.
Can you explain why somebody put a lawnmower turbo on a...
Well, yeah, for some reason they used a very, well, they got a snail over here on the back. It seems to make fairly decent power. It comes on like $6 grand, but you know, is what it is. Again, everything's the wrong direction. Yes, done a Volkswagen motor, whatever. We'll see if we can make this work. I'm just gonna start work on the top, go down, take bolts out, pry, probably curse a little bit, under my breath, of course, and get parts on the table. I'm actually just going to dump this down here. Well, it seems to me like Subaru decided to go through the parts bin and empty it out with all the bolts, hoses, zip ties, there's like 80 of them, and hose clamps. So it's a little more cumbersome than one might expect. I can't believe head gaskets blow in these so often that they like to change them. Know what I mean? Look, another zip tie. Beautiful. It's like my fish story. It's this big. Victory. It's clean. Should drop a nut down that one. I don't know who was driving this last, but they sure got a lot of sand all over everything.
At least 10 horsepower.
At least 10. You know? Seems like it had a coolant leak because it's all green up top. Notice that?
Strippy.
Yeah. The brass. That inlaid nut is not working. That's the way she goes. When they're stripped, you can't do nothing about that. Okay, well here's my rockauto.com tip of the day. Now I didn't expect to have this problem on I'll say a foreign car, because usually their fasteners are pretty good and the heads are solid, so on and so forth. But in this case, it looks like this motor's been leaking maybe some coolant, and the timing cover bolt heads, they're like corroded and huge from the rust. So what I like to do is just take the normal size socket that's supposed to fit it, use a hammer to tap it on there, like so, And use a 6-point socket as well, not a 12. And then they'll knock loose. Now, if by chance that head is smaller, just go to the next size smaller, but in a fractional socket instead of the metric socket. Ooh, now this one's gonna fight me. So here's what I was saying. So now on this one, the head is so rotted, I'm actually gonna go down and use a 3/8 instead of the 10 that it should be. This 3/8 is ever so slightly smaller. Where I was gonna take it out at, I couldn't. Lift it off. All right, well, I'm gonna do my best here to get these rotted bolts off. And of course you can see the shroud isn't a whole lot better. So it's not like I'm trying to save something that's, I'll say, worth having at this point.
You may have to take a torch, Joe.
We may have to take a torch. I'm also going to kind of prepare just to pry it off and use the air chisel. But let's see what we... Well, I guess that's proof that you still have to use a little bit of manual effort persuasion on the modern cars as well. Just because this one hasn't been sitting in a field for 50 years isn't making it happy. So my concern going forward is, all right, not ever taking apart a Subaru motor, do I have to have some certain, tool? So as a for instance, lots of times on the older late model stuff, you have to have, I should say newer late model stuff, you have to have some sort of special puller to pull the crank pulley off. In this case, it was just a bolt and it was a slip fit. So there was no press on there to need a puller. Now, as I dig deeper into, your timing and all that jazz, we're probably gonna get into something, and especially when we go into putting it all back together. Our specialty tool issues are, so far it's just been a pry bar. But exhaust stuff is kind of a pain because it rots on. Mainly the shrouding that usually rots off. This is actually the first Subaru shrouding that I have seen that doesn't have the aftermarket worm clamps holding everything together from rattling. So if you hear one going down the road and it's making a clatter, this is why. I can't imagine what some people charge to put band clamps on their exhaust for people, but it's usually the standard fix. There. Might not be pretty, but I win every time here. Look at all the schmutz. Yeah. Put that in the crap pile. And look at that. A little soot. Surprising. Getting plenty of fuel. That one's leaking oil. Right there.
How can you tell?
That guide's got oil all over it.
It's that simple, huh?
It's that simple.
Crushing on it, so.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I wanted. Losing my mind. think it's a Subaru. They had that glued down nice. I won again. Look at that. Well, actually it doesn't look horrible. I've seen a lot worse with a lot more gook in the bottom of it. Somebody at least loved it enough to change the oil twice. So that's good. Got it. Got him. Okay. Little bindy. All right, so underneath this big cap, lash cap more or less, it's you have your valve springs, which obviously is directly to your valve. So your camshaft, instead of using a push rod and rocker arms, it's direct to the top of the valves. But they put this cap basically in between to make a bigger contact surface of your lifter. I think this might be the only Subaru in northern Michigan without a blown head gasket. That's what I'm thinking. Because that little bit of coolant I put in there. Well, that's going to do it for me today. From here, obviously, I got a lot of cleanup to do. Somebody put sand on everything. So we're going to get it in the Gladiator parts washer, get everything spick and span, and then, of course, roll it over to Throbies and move on from there. Till next time, go get in the shop, go get your work done, and, well, hopefully you get air conditioning if it's hot where you're at. See ya.